So the Battlefield 6 beta is finally here, and friends, I gotta say, I've been really excited for this one. As an old school Battlefield player that has kind of drifted away because of 2042 and things that have been going on with the series, I've been very excited to dive back into the beta and see, well, is it going to live up to the expectations or fall short again? And now that we've had some time to play with the beta and see what's going on, I wanted to break down for all you new players that are going to be joining in for this open weekend what you could really expect, and does it live up to all the expectations and the hype, or is it falling short? So with that, let's dive right in and get into it. So first things first, let's cover the game modes. So there actually is 5 total game modes that you can experience during the beta. The first one is going to be Conquest. Now Conquest is your standard Battlefield experience with typically larger scale maps, although for the beta they kept it more grounded for their smaller maps to medium size. But you'll be able to have ground forces, vehicles, and aerial combat as well. So it's a pretty good experience all in one, and I'd say it's the typical one that you'd get from Battlefield. Now, our second one is actually going to be a variant of Conquest, which is called Close Conquest. Now, pretty much the same, except for there's going to be some class restrictions on your characters, as well as you are going, instead of just for point control, to completely eliminate the enemy team and whittle down their points to absolutely 0 for you to get the W and win. Next up is Breakthrough. Now in Breakthrough, you're being pitted against the enemy team in either an attacker or defender scenario, where you're either trying to hold your zone and fight off the enemy as they try to push through, or as the attackers push back the enemy completely until you take the final zone. Now this is a very chaotic battle. There's going to be a lot of deaths that you get in this, or if you're really great, a lot of kills. It's been a great way to kind of farm out those beta challenges that you have, and it's been a really fun experience. But it's typically more ground combat that's out there that I've seen. I haven't experienced any, helicopters or planes yet on there, but there are tanks that you have to be aware of from time to time in this mode. And it's a lot of fun. Something interesting that you can do is you can actually run outside the zone for a little bit, behind the enemy lines, kill guys quickly, and then hop right back in before the timer ends, and get your character killed. So if you're good enough to do that, give it a shot. It's worth trying out. So next up are going to be our smaller game modes. Now, the first one up is going to be Domination, where you and a team are vying against another enemy team for, again, point control, but in a confined area, so it's very much close quarter battles the entire time, with the added layer of chaos of being random spawns. You can mitigate this a bit with your own deployable spawn points as well, but I thought it was a great mode where you're getting very fast-paced environments and a lot of kills, a lot of deaths in a short period of time, but it's good, chaotic fun, and was definitely one of my favorites from the beta. Then lastly is going to be King of the Hill. Now in King of the Hill, you have an even smaller team with you, and you're going against a single point of control against the enemy team, so you are trying to cap them and get to a certain point level before the enemy team does. And I found this one to be the best mix of tactical and aggressive combat, and it was a lot of fun. So again, one of my favorites as well. Okay, next up, let's cover our classes for our characters within the game. Yes, no more weird special operators that are in Battlefield. It is a return to form and going back to the core 4, which are going to be our Assault, our Recon, our Support, and our Engineer classes. And I gotta say, I'm super happy that they went back to this type of format. I did not like the separation that they went in the position they went for 2042, but we've grounded things back, and I've got to say these feel a lot of fun to use. So our first one up is going to be our Assault class. This is kind of our frontline attacker. They're basically kitted with an assault rifle. They have the most guns, so they also get a pistol and shotgun to their gear, and even a grenade launcher. So a great all-arounder to use on the front lines, and a lot of fun. The second one up is going to be the Engineer class. I am an Engineer main. I always have been. It is my favorite thing to do. Being an anti-tanker as well as having that fast-shooting SMG is a lot of fun to use within this beta. The RPG that you get is great for downing tanks and helicopters and anything else in the map. But then also you have a repair tool now. That is going to be your buddy for keeping not only your tank alive, but your friend's tanks alive, or even doing damage to the enemy tank, which I always find to be a bit of a troll and a fun way to do it. So again, go try it out. It's a lot of fun. I enjoyed it very much myself. Next up is going to be our support class. Now, this is one that I always see being played on the battlefield. For the challenges, you have to get a lot of revives with your kit. I think it's 100 in total, if I'm not mistaken. So it can be a little daunting to get that done within the beta time frame to get your special achievement. But it's not too bad, especially if you choose the right mode like Domination or Breakthrough to get those. I'd say that would be your sweet spot for collecting that challenge. But they come with an LMG. They have their defibrillator packs for quickly reviving your friends, as well as a supply pack, which will give everyone their gear again, so it helps keep your team in the fight longer and kitted up so that they are prepared for anything. But there's also a fun mechanic that you can do aside from just using your defibs, and all classes can do this, is going to be pulling your teammate away to safety to actually use your stim pack on them and revive them. It's going to be slower, but it allows you to have a little bit more variation so you're not always waiting on your medic that could be far away to get revived from a friendly. Last one up is going to be our Recon Class, so aka the Sniper. This guy's fun. Not only can you be your long-range attacker with your sniper, but you can also do mid-range with your DMR option as well. And if you're feeling a little bit more aggressive, and I always like to play this as kind of like a backline flanker, is run around with your C4 and your pistol. Attach some C4 to a tank, attach it to the enemy vehicles, and let them blow up, or blow open a wall in a building and break through with your pistol and just take out every guy that's been camping you. It's a lot of fun. So again, with the 4 classes, they're all great. I'd say they're all pretty well balanced for the beta, but one more time, that the Engineer is going to be my personal favorite to use, and I highly suggest giving it a shot. So as I mentioned before, there's actually going to be challenges for the beta for you to complete, and if you do get them done, you'll be rewarded with some stickers for your weapons or profile, as well as some character skins and weapon skins. So definitely say that you should try to get them done as quickly as possible. During the open beta period, there will be an AI bot farming mode that you can do for called the training grounds. But the way that I did it on the closed part of the beta was getting it done in a player versus player environment, which is always more fun and more rewarding, albeit a bit more challenging and a bit more slow. So if you're going to get these done, a great way to grind them out are going to be the Breakthrough and Domination modes. But if you want to take it slow or you don't really care, have at it, accomplish them at your own leisure, but there's going to be a week 1 challenge to get them done, and then a week 2 challenge to get the other ones done as well. But if you can get them, great, and they're definitely adding a fun little flair to your character, but nothing that's going to be missed if you aren't able to accomplish it. Okay, next things up is going to be the movement. Well, how do characters move in this game? Is it more of the grounded, old-school shooter feeling, or more like the modernized Call of Duty, maybe Fortnite type of movement that you have in games? And I have to say, friends, it's kind of a mixed bag and like a easy medium between them. You will have your points where it's more grounded and seems more smooth and slow, but then also they have added on specialized movements where you can climb and roll up different ledges, as well as dive down and do a rollout. And there is some bunny hopping to extent on certain ledges. I saw a little bit of that happening within the beta experience, but it's not really fast of crazy slides. They're more minimal, and it's going to be a lot more manageable of a system. So if you're expecting things to be super slow paced, you're going to be let down. But if you're also expecting it to be a very high fast paced environment like a Call of Duty or an arcade shooter like that, you will also be let down that regard. So right now, a bit of a happy balance. So let's talk about gunplay balance and time to kill. Well, you have from the start a lot of weapons that you can have to use for your different kits, and you will get more as you level up your character. There are some that are outperforming others, like the second SMG, the second LMG, and the combat shotgun that the assault class gets. And then there are ones that are underperforming or kind of feel like you're not really doing as much damage. But if you work them up with the different accessories and balance the weapon a bit more, you can get really good gameplay experience out of any gun that you're using. So there's none that are really falling too far behind, but there are definitely some that are overperforming right now. In terms of guns that I found were maybe underperforming a little bit, is going to be your second DMR that you get, and as well as even the sniper itself. Now, if you're great and in God mode and you can get all those headshots just fine, you're going to do one-shot kills with a sniper rifle, and that's going to be perfect for you. Other times, though, it's going to be mostly a 2-shot kill on an enemy, but sometimes you're firing at a guy and you swear that you're doing the damage and they're not taking anything. So it could be a hit registry error that's happening or your internet connection, but I found that in a lot of cases, the sniper could probably be buffed just a little bit, at least for the one that they give you in this beta, because there's only one that you get. But there's also the DMR option, so if you wanted to have more of a mid-range approach and not deal with the sniper, you can do that with the Recon Class. So let's talk about the time to kill. So the time to kill in this game, I'd say, is in a pretty decent spot. Certain guns that are performing better do kill the enemies much faster, and then some guns have, a lot more bullets to put into the enemy before they're done, but you can get a guy killed pretty quickly. It's not going to be a bullet sponge simulator, but it's also not going to typically be like a one-shot kill in most cases. So for the beta right now, I'd say it's in a decent spot. It will probably need to get optimized one more time before, we hit full launch, but for what it is right now, I'd say it's a pretty good experience. So let's talk about vehicle combat. Now, I got the pleasure of using most of the vehicles within the beta. I couldn't quite get my hands on the jet yet because it's always something that's selected very, very quickly. But in terms of aerial combat, we did get to use the attack helicopter quite a lot. Now, the flying mechanics in this game are a little bit different than other Battlefield games, but also in a way a bit more easy to use. They're very approachable, kind of one ascending, one descending button. And then you will fly a little clunky in certain areas, so definitely want to go up there in the air with 2 people in your helicopter rather than the one. You're not going to be a plague upon all the ground forces like you were in some other games, at least in the beta. But also you will be able to take on other vehicles and other jets and helicopters pretty easy without feeling like, hey, this is too hard for me to take on. It's pretty approachable, and we had a lot of fun doing it. But for my favorite is going to be the tank combat. Now, I've always been a bit of a tank main and absolutely loved getting in any of the heavy tanks, even the light tanks. It's a fun experience. But in this one, you have now larger crews that can get into your tank. Some of the tanks can accommodate up to 6 people, and then some are still the 2 standard. But even on those, you can have like an engineer hanging out on the back, waiting to fix you, or just kind of running alongside you and making sure that he's fixing you as you go. But the tank fighting feels a lot of fun. It's not super overpowered and super strong with its armor value, so a couple RPGs from enemies will take you out, or, head-to-head tank battles is almost always kind of like a kill-for-kill scenario. If you got a good team with you, you will be able to survive those encounters, and when you do, it feels great. You feel like a god upon the battlefield, but again, you're not going to be this unkillable hulking mass that is really hard to take out. The enemy will be able to take you out with C4 or RPGs, or again with any of the other anti-armor that's out there. But all in all, we had a great experience with the tank combat in here, and I'd say it feels super smooth, and I really like the new camera perspective. It has a little bit more of a tilt down rather than a tilt up, so you kind of feel a little bit more in the combat, and you don't have the greatest FOV, so you will want to change in from first person to third person modes quite frequently to be able to see what's going on. So what are my final thoughts and takeaway about the beta and Battlefield 6 as a whole as an experience? Well, I gotta say, as an old school gamer, I'm definitely appreciating the game. It doesn't feel like it's too modernized and too fast paced for me, but also has a good balance for the new generation that's coming in of what they expect from a shooter as well. So I'm glad that they found the happy balance, kind of appeasing both sides. Definitely thought that was a pretty smooth and polished experience all around. It wasn't janky. There are some performance stuttering that you'll see, light flickering from time to time, but hey, it's a beta, these things happen. But it is a pretty good experience, and I definitely say give it a shot on the open beta weekend. You'll have this weekend as well as the upcoming next to get your hands on and give it a shot, so definitely take advantage of that. And friends, please be sure to like and subscribe. I'm doing new types of videos out here, as you can see, and really appreciate your feedback. So let me know how we did, and we'll be sure to check you in the next video. Take care, everyone.